Ladies and gentlemen, Daily Intermission fans, we are back, not in studio. We are homeless right now, but it's Season 2, Episode 65, Episode Air Carlson, E65.
Wow. That's out of the woodwork.
Absolutely, but we're at the local watering hole,
Yes,
Joe's Food Emporium, downtown Wolfville, recording our first road show, Nate.
Yeah, shout out to Joe's for letting us use the establishment.
Absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know,
We're in a hard time. We're caught between a rock and a hard
it was
place.
either this or a local field, so...
Where the electricity is kind of challenging to hook up.
Yeah,
you know,
generally there's not a whole lot down there, but it's nice to have. It feels like home here.
No, my goodness.
So.
Absolutely. So we are in the midst of kind of transitioning studios and finding a new home, but for now we are going to be on the road. But Nate, I did want to mention, so we got the NFL season just around the corner. We're going to continue in the pregame show. I should actually mention before we get into this that the pregame show is sponsored by Manscaped.
Indeed it is.
Manscaped is the best men's grooming tools worldwide. We're talking about millions of people that use this Manscaped and trust Manscaped for nick-free, waterproof, grooming, and you can go use code TDI for 20% off, free shipping, and I'm telling you right now, you won't regret it.
No, you will not. It is spectacular stuff. Comes with a boatload of stuff if you get the main package, as I mentioned multiple times. Underwear, shirts, everything. So get over there and get yourself some Manscaped. It's
an unbelievable deal. But Nate, continuing on in the pregame show, we've got a huge NFL survival pool around the corner. We're going to be using Run Your Pool.
Yep.
So we're going to start that this week. It's going to be free to enter. There's going to be nice prize packages. We've partnered with Run Your Pool. And let's get it huge. Like if you are a semi-NFL fan, it takes 30 seconds to pick a team that's going to win that week, and you try to pick a team that wins. But once you use that team, you can't use them again.
Yeah.
So essentially, if you pick the Patriots to win week 1, they win. You can't pick the Patriots again and see how long. Yeah, how long you can go.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's done Survivor pools knows how fun they are.
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't done them, you're missing out because they are a boatload of fun. We did one for the golf this year, and it's been a hoot.
Oh, it's
been a hoot.
It's been awesome. So, but we'll get into the golf in quarter 3. I will break down that quarter 1 will be NFL, quarter 2 MLB. The halftime show will be just a brief guess their age.
Yep.
We'll move into quarter 3, the PGA Tour, and then we'll break it down with a little NBA, NHL to end the episode. But continuing on the pregame show. Chalkboard, man. We partnered with Chalkboard, and we've got some of our audience traveling over there. And it's like, those times when you're watching different sports games and you're like, you know what, I don't know who to text, I don't know who's watching.
Yes.
That's such a perfect spot to kind of chime in and see who's in on the action and see if they're watching. Like, I know I did it the other day during the World Juniors, a huge play by Connor Bedard, and I posted right in there right away. And I know you did last night with the McTavish, which we'll get into during the the hockey in quarter 4, but it's just a fun place to talk about sports. So make sure you download the Chalkboard app and join the Daily Intermission board and start talking sports. It's a huge group chat.
It's the place to be. It's also great if you're thinking of live betting.
Yes.
And you're not really sure what to go with. I find throwing one in there and be like, boys, what are we thinking here? Am I just getting seduced by the juice here, or is this a legitimate bet? So that's the place to go for sure. So download the Chalkboard app, get in our board. Let's absolutely feed.
And we've got some absolute lunatics in there. And I'm talking, we're not just talking NHL, NBA.
We've got horse racing specialists.
It's unbelievable. European football. I mean, people in our audience, they like to bet, and they are all over the place in regard to betting. So make sure you join that app.
Yeah, plain and simple. If you're listening to the podcast, there's definitely something in there for you.
Yes.
100%.
100%. So, Nate, just finally in the pregame show here, there was a big UFC fight last night. Usman versus Edwards. And obviously, Usman he's kind of known as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. He was a massive favorite, minus 365. My best bet during the Project Parlay, from everything that I was reading, it was going to be a long fight. It did end up going to the last minute of the 5th round, but Edwards ends up knocking him out, grabbing the belt. During the commentators, so Daniel Cormier, during this sequence with a minute left, they were writing off. They were like, listen, man, Edwards didn't have his stuff. He got dominated most of the fight, and then he just knocked him out.
That's crazy.
So they were writing him off and just giving the win to Usman pretty much by decision. And then he ended up knocking him out. So it was a huge win in the UFC.
That's awesome.
Another British fighter. We got the Paddy Pimblett, we got Molly, the Meatball, and now we got Edwards, who are making some noise out of the country of England in the MMA scene. So
yes, we do.
So fun stuff there. But Nate, we're going to move into the NFL here quickly, and it's a fun story in quarter 1 here. It's a fun story to start things off in the NFL. So Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, driving downtown Pittsburgh, saw a bunch of kids roughhousing on the streets. It looked like probably a potential fight going on. I think they were young kids, like 12, 13 years old in the city. He pulls over the car and he says, listen, boys, kind of breaks up the fight and says, you're all coming to Steelers camp. Brings about 15 of them to Steelers camp the next day. They're all at the Steelers practice. Like, pretty cool there by Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's like they get there, they get in another fight.
There's a fight on the field, they're in it.
Yeah, it's like, boys, get out of here. I gave you a flyer here trying to assume you were good kids, but this is outrageous.
That's right. Or they're just looting.
Yeah. They're just stealing stuff, asking for autographs.
Yeah. So it was a risky play by Mike. No, but that's a cool little story out of Pittsburgh, and we're excited about that. But Nate, Zach and Julia Ertz. So Julia Ertz plays on the women's national team for the women's soccer, and Zach, obviously a tight end for the Arizona Cardinals. They had a kid, and guess what the kid has been named?
I have no idea.
Madden.
Oh, I did see this, actually.
Madden.
Okay.
Is that a football kid?
That's a football kid.
Madden Ertz.
No doubt about it.
Madden Ertz.
Madden Ertz. It doesn't really flow off the tongue, does it?
No, I was thinking Mike Hawk.
Yeah. I mean,
Mike Hawk Ertz?
Yeah, that would work, too. Or, I guess Ertz.
Yeah.
It Ertz?
It Ertz.
But,
there's a bunch of different names you could go with, but just staying in the NFL scene, Nate, Carolina Panthers quarterback Matt Corral, who was drafted out of Ole Miss for a long time, was going to be the top quarterback prospect going into the NFL season last year.
Yep.
Out for the season. Obviously, they brought in Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, so they don't need this young kid. But it just sucks, your first year in the NFL and you're done with a foot injury.
Yeah, they definitely don't need him. They've got two absolute studs, so they're all set.
That's right. Who knows? Actually, he might have had a sniff at getting some action in if these guys were folding like lawn chairs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Baker's just anyway. We're not going to get into this again. I can't make fun of Sam Darnold again.
No.
Just, my God. It's going to turn into a bullying case here pretty quick.
We've got a long season to analyze their
yes,
play.
We do.
But Nate, Urban Meyer, this guy, after the stunt he pulled last year in Jacksonville, I was like, this guy is he's got to be done. Yeah. But this guy, who's going to hire this guy for anything? I mean, the way he coached the Jacksonville Jaguars was obviously clownish. Showing up at the College Bar when they were in Ohio, absolute clownish. But he's been hired by a college football broadcast, so he's back in the mix, back in the media. I just think, like how do you take this guy seriously?
That's crazy, man. I just don't. It's just such a weird weird guy to grab. I guess it's like if it's the biggest name you can get.
Yeah.
Like you got a lot of baggage coming with you here.
Oh my goodness.
Who knows what he's going to pull next?
I know.
It's one thing to do the bar stuff, but who knows what he's doing behind physically closed doors.
And now he's a target. Now everywhere else he would go, like now, he's got to be.
He's watched like a hawk.
So careful.
He goes to, yeah.
No, so anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how Urban Meyer performs on the college football broadcast. Nate, I did want to mention, obviously, Deshaun Watson's been suspended 11 games. He will return Week 13 versus his old team, the Houston Texans. Do you think the NFL is such a scumbag profit-making machine that they said, we're going to suspend him and make it a prime-time must-watch TV, his return, which everyone will be waiting for, against his old team? Is there a coincidence there?
There's definitely a chance. I mean, it's not like the NFL's got the best reputation when it comes to not hiding stuff.
Yes.
But I don't know. It was the 6-game suspension. They obviously extended it. They didn't put it up. They didn't double it, but they went damn close. It is kind of an odd number, and maybe it does make you think.
I think there was some motive there. Like maybe it was 10 games. It's like, we'll peg on an extra one so we can get a primetime game that everyone's going to watch.
Yeah, true. Because it's like, you can't really, there's nothing to really gauge the suspension off the way they go about it. You know what I mean? So they can really give any amount of games they want because it seems like any amount of, whatever anybody gets is just a random number, it feels like, in the NFL, for the most part.
I think we think about it. I mean, obviously everyone's comparing the situation to the gambling case with Calvin Ridley. He's done for the year. Like, you have to think, 30 women, massage therapists he hired and tried to, obviously we don't know the ins and outs of it, but obviously, was not acting as a, under the code of conduct of the law. Yeah. And they just suspend him for firstly 6 games, and now 11 is going to be the total. But it just kind of seems like maybe it should have just been a full season.
Yeah, I feel like it should have been. I mean, because you can compare it all you want, but it was just plain and simple, clearly worse than the Calvin Ridley thing.
100%.
It's not even close. So I don't even know what the comparison is really.
Yeah.
But a full season I feel like would have been the move. But I mean, their hands kind of got tied when it got appealed and he got 6.
No, exactly. Exactly. Nate, that's going to end quarter 1. So we're not going to preview the divisions this week. We're going to wait for when we're in the studio because we've got to move and groove along here because we are in the middle of a restaurant which will be
opening in
make sure you
minus 27 minutes.
Yes, so make sure you go to the YouTube if you haven't and just check out the setup that we're dealing with here. It is makeshift. It reminds me of the days in the original basement.
Yeah, perhaps we'll throw something on Instagram too. It is some original basement vibe just with the table.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But Nate, moving into quarter 2 MLB, I think we learned the hard way yesterday, and I think we've learned the hard way throughout I'm just kind of getting back into the betting scene. I take the summers off. There's not I don't love gambling on the MLB, but we did the Project Parlay. We had 2 favorites yesterday. I loved the Yankees bet, Nate. We had Garrett Cole on the mound. They had just lost 2 straight games. Feeling like the Yankees should try to get some momentum with their guy on the mound, and we also had the Angels over the Tigers, which felt like a good bet as well.
Yeah.
But they both went down as heavy favorites. But it's like the MLB money lines are it's such a coin flip every night.
It's almost better to just take the underdog.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Take the juice. I saw the Nelk boys did that. It was Marlins against Dodgers.
Yeah.
And they were like plus 225. They were like, they put like $5,000 on the Marlins. The Marlins ended up losing, but it was 2-1.
Yeah.
It's not like
That's
it was
a good
like
snap.
Exactly.
I mean, so we'll get into it. The Yankees, man, they've lost 14 of 17 games. They are absolutely collapsing. I mean, we rewind a month ago. We thought this was God's gift on earth. I mean, we have never seen an MLB team firing on all cylinders like we had seen, and now they've come back to earth, which you probably could have predicted. Yeah. I mean, these guys weren't going to win, 130 games or whatever they were on pace for. But they've come back to earth. But the Jays are starting to heat up again. And Nate, you mentioned it last episode when we were talking about the Blue Jays. It's been such a roller coaster of a season for them. They get hot, they go on a nice little heater, and then they slump. And
they slump some more.
And then they slump a little bit more.
If you're the Yankees, though, obviously you don't want to. How often do you see a team go in from the regular season, absolutely dominate all year, and then just dominate in the playoffs? Like, it never happens.
No.
You almost want to have that little bit of adversity at some point in the year.
Yes.
And then come into the playoffs, maybe get hot again.
Yeah.
Because it's almost impossible for 7 months to just stay entirely dialed.
Yeah, like you said, you never see it. You never see the team that just dominates all regular season, is clearly the favorite to win.
Look at the President's Trophy in the NHL.
Exactly. How often do they win?
Yeah, I remember doing up the numbers a few years ago because I was just looking for something to cushion the Washington losses every year.
Yes, that's right.
That was like the best seed to win, or the best odds per seed is the number 1 seed, but the one that doesn't win the President's Trophy. That's exactly what Colorado was this year.
Yes.
And you look at Florida, they got swept 4-0 second round.
Yeah.
So it's
cool.
It's just those teams never win.
No, it makes sense. Nate, in Atlanta, Braves pitcher Marcell Ozuna, obviously a fantastic pitcher, arrested with a DUI. I will always think that this would be the most stupidity of anything that can go down. I mean, just the access in today's society to vehicles and people being able to drive you in a safe manner, and you go out and get a DUI. Like, I just think there's just no room for it. I mean, it's just such a dumb maneuver.
Yeah, it's really dumb. I've always said too, it's like you can't think about yourself in that situation. You have to think about like hitting someone and
exactly.
Creating like 2 orphans.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like having
exactly.
2 kids grow up, or killing an innocent child. You know what I mean? You can't go out and do that stuff. Plus, the other thing is too, it's like if you're a little buzzed, it's like, okay, I probably know I shouldn't get behind the wheel.
Yes.
But then again, if you're completely blackout, there should be something in your head that's like, there's no way I should be getting behind a wheel.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, it's just a situation where it's just so easily accessible, especially in a city.
Yes.
Get an Uber, dude.
Uber. Just get an Uber.
It couldn't be easier.
There's just no need for it, and we see it, man. We see it all the time in society, and you just hate to see it. But a former Angels manager, Joe Madden, did an interview this week. I think it was with someone from The Athletic, and says, I think Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout need a bit more help.
You think?
No kidding.
Yeah, you could have listened to the podcast and heard that about 4 months ago.
Yeah, like...
This is the same guy too, right? He got canned.
Yes.
He was like, these guys don't listen.
Yes.
Or what did he do? He shaved his He shaved a mohawk to get the boys going,
Yeah.
and they fired him before they got to see it. That's what happened. That's
Yeah.
brutal, man.
Anyway, so Joe Madden, okay, Captain Obvious, just absolutely obnoxious. Like, clearly they need a bit more help, and clearly, I don't know if it's a culture thing in with the Angels organization. Like, we look around at teams, throughout sports, and it's just like they're just kind of never good, and like it doesn't matter if they have studs. Like, if we look at the NHL, the Cardinals, we look at the NFL, obviously, outside of 2017, the Jacksonville Jaguars, there's just kind of like a culture or like an aura around the team where it's just like no matter who we have on our team, it's just the franchise just isn't going to be successful.
Yeah, I know.
It's
almost like some Buffalo Sabres stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I wanted to touch on Albert Pujols quick too.
Okay.
Did you see him hitting the absolute pinch hit dingers?
Dude. 690th home run is a pinch hit grand slam. He's now 10 away from the 700 mark.
He's 692 now.
Did he's hit
He got
two?
two last night.
Oh my!
Yeah.
This guy is on an absolute path to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get this man to 700, man.
So if he doesn't get to 700 this year, does he stick around? Because he is an absolute fossil out there.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's
Like
42. Give me that for guess the age. It almost gives you Mr. 3000 vibes.
And in
doesn't it?
baseball, it's not like not to pick on baseball, but it's not like the age. It's not.
You
like
could be 60 years old if you can still hammer dingers.
Yeah,
pinch hit.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
let's theoretically get him the record.
Yeah, I know. I think that St. Louis should bring him back and just kind of just manage him, like play him, pinch hit him in situations, and we'll try to get him to that number 700 because that's such a huge milestone.
Yes.
What's the record? 760 some?
767, I think,
Yep.
or something like that.
For Barry.
For Barry, yeah. And then there's Barry Bonds, too. I think he's 685.
That's right. Yeah. But everyone knows the Barry that we are referring to.
Yes.
But Nate, that's going to conclude quarter two of the MLB. Obviously, we got about 50 games left. We're going to be pretty dialed in to the finish here and moving into September and October when things really start to heat up. Nate, we'll do 5 each for guess their age.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yeah. Here, I'm just going to try and pick the grimiest ones then.
Yeah. No, we'll get a quick halftime show in here. This is always tough. The guess the jersey, I'm going to just be... okay, Nate, we'll start things off. We'll go with Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr, how old is he?
Yeah.
81?
74.
Okay.
Last night I was having that conversation too about how old he was, and I was kind of in that realm too before I looked it up.
Yeah, those ones are hard. They kind of sneak away from you. Even like guys who retired like 10 years ago, I always like think of like at least 45, and then they sometimes sneak up like A-Rod, something like that. What about Seth Brown, Oakland Athletics?
Seth Brown, I'll say, is he 28?
30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just kind of breaking into the MLB. I guess you can do that at any age.
Yes, you certainly can.
Troy Tulowitzki, Nate.
He's got to be like 34.
37.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, then. We'll forget that. Matt Chapman.
Matt Chapman. I'll say he's, I'm going to go 29.
That's spot on.
Is it?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, good
That's,
stuff.
pretty much what you do during this game is you think of a range of 5. So I think, okay, he's probably 28 to 32, and then I fire a dart.
I always just, well, yeah, that's all you can do. I always just think I'm like, okay, I think he was this, or I get lucky sometimes if I know the draft year, but then I have to do the mental math, and it doesn't work out. But I guess it's you.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, 30?
34.
Jeez, eh? I guess, man, UFC fighters tend to,
always
yeah,
seem
they
to
are
be a
little
bit
sneaky
older.
eh? Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. This is a good one here. Drafted first overall in 2016. So that would make him. Give me 28, Nate.
27.
Wow.
Let me double check the birthday, though. He might. No, you're still a little way. Actually, it's only about a month out.
Okay.
Could have had it. What do you got for me?
I'm going to go Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions. You know Dan Campbell. He's been
Yeah, but it's hard to, like, I don't know, man. 42?
46.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah.
He's a young coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's a wiry guy.
He certainly is. Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts, 25.
24.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nate, we'll end on that just because we're flying back and forth here. But Jalen Hurts, man, he's going to be an absolute sleeper of a quarterback. I think he's like right now he's the average draft of like a 6th or 7th quarterback taken.
Okay.
We're talking about a guy who's come into his third year. two years in the league under his belt. They just brought in A.J. Brown, the top receiver from the Titans. He's got Devontae Smith, who was an absolute freak of nature at Alabama going into his second year. Their backfield, they got 3 horses back there. I mean, Jalen Hurts might have a monstrous season in terms of fantasy, and he's going to be a guy that I'm looking at to snag on my fantasy teams.
It's a shame you're saying it, though.
Yeah, I
get somebody in here listening, man.
I think the only guy will be Robbie Adams that I do fantasy with and listening, and he's fully aware.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing.
You saying something on the pod is not going to make much of a difference.
No, it's not. He's been doing mock drafts since February 3rd.
Yeah,
before the Super Bowl.
Either that, or maybe this is a flare.
That's right.
You're just chucking it out, saying.
Exactly.
I would love to have Jim. I would take him first overall.
That's right. All right, Nate, we're going to move into the quarter 3. We got the PGA Tour. We got Tiger Woods. Obviously, we mentioned it last episode that he flew into Delaware to talk to the players at the BMW Championship. Apparently, 7 players that played in the first playoff event are going to the LIV Tour, 1 being Cam Smith, 6 others. But they talked a lot about, he's the governing voice. He's going to be the most powerful voice in golf. It doesn't matter what Jay Monahan says. It doesn't matter really what anybody in the golf world says. Tiger Woods will always have the most pull. He's pretty much single-handedly developed the game. I mean, Nate and I were doing interviews yesterday on the street. You'll see those videos later this week. It doesn't even, you could ask, who's a player in the NHL? And if you're not a sports fan, you may not know. Who's a tennis player? If you're not a tennis fan, you may not know. It seems like every single person, no matter who you are, no matter what walk of life, no matter how much capacity you follow sports, they know who Tiger Woods is.
Yeah, for sure.
I
would say for hockey, if anybody, they're just going to throw out Gretzky.
Yes.
They probably heard the name.
For sure.
But there's some people who wouldn't know a single one.
Exactly, yeah.
And then for tennis, though, I feel like tennis,
would
everyone kind of... I feel like, honestly, Serena Williams.
Yeah, 100%.
I think Serena Williams, if I was default throwing one out, I would say Serena Williams.
Yeah, she's been kind of the dominant force.
Yep.
And the Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, those 4 have been, if we look back at the majors, we've done that in past episodes. It's outrageous, the dominance that those 4 have put on in tennis.
I was just going to say, if someone were to ask me on the street, I would say Andy Roddick.
Yep.
Just running around.
Absolute
I remember
heater.
seeing him. He's the reason I started watching tennis back in the day, just because he was always just arguing with the umpire. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Big Lacoste guys as well.
Oh my God.
And he had a heater of a serve.
Yes, he did.
But Nate, it sounds like too that they're pulling for a baseline salary. So if you get your PGA Tour card, you're automatically get $500,000.
Yep.
And that $500,000 will be taken out of your earnings throughout the year. So say you won an event, your first event on tour, then you'd win the $700,000 instead of the $1.2 million, and then now you're good to go.
You say take it out?
So it would be that's how the LIV Tour is operating right now. So they give DJ $100 million to go, and if he wins the event, he doesn't get that $5 million that he won the event. It just comes out of that signing bonus that he's signed, for that guaranteed money. If you see what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
So they can't build on that signing bonus until they've earned that all through playing. If that makes sense.
So they have to get more money out of them. They have to earn every bit of what they've got.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they're looking to do that on the PGA Tour. I think that makes a lot of sense, man, because it's they're traveling all over the place, hotel rooms. It's expensive. If you don't have the top of the line net jet, private jet sponsorships, it's a grind out there, man.
Well, for sure. And I was saying the other day, I was like, there's no reason why, say a top 500 golfer in the world should have to be scraping by.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not to say scraping by, but the travel and stuff adds up pretty quick.
And from 150 to 500, all of those guys are grinding to put food on the table.
Exactly. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah, which is
can't
outrageous.
Have that. That's ridiculous.
So the PGA Tour, interesting enough, is a non-profit organization. They're looking to switch into a profit-making entity, which means they could take some massive private investments. Which is interesting. So there's going to be some major changes to the PGA Tour.
So they're looking to juice things up.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Which is a well-needed response. Out of them.
100%. So we'll applaud that, and we'll continue to monitor that. I still get a kick out of Ricky Fowler flying, because obviously we know Ricky Fowler's been struggling for the last few years in the PGA Tour. But the fact that Tiger said, "Ricky, you're coming with," I love Ricky, man. I pray so much that he gets his game back and gets in the mix on Sundays, because he's such a great character for the game and did so much for it as well. But Willie Z yesterday during the BMW Championship, obviously the second round of the playoffs.
Looking stiff.
Hurts his back, has to withdraw. Tough to see, man.
That is a shame, man.
After the big win.
He was wincing pretty considerably, too.
Yes, he was.
So
you could tell there
he was
an
getting
injury.
a little massage, and it was oh, God.
There was a tweak.
Yeah.
So we'll...
he'll be missing some time. Hopefully it's not too bad.
I know.
Because a back injury can sneak up on
I don't think he'll be playing next week.
No, I can't imagine, man. I feel like you got to take it off.
Yeah.
But he had the dub, so it's like, whatever.
We got the waitresses rolling in for their shift, and we are still just grinding away
let's
here.
Let's get through quarter 4 here.
Absolutely. Just to kind of finish off here at the BMW Championship, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantley, Xander Schauffele, all in the mix at the BMW Championship. So we're excited to watch that final round. We'll see.
Adam Scott had a hot start too,
and Adam Scott's right in the mix as well. So I think I get Live Tour vibes from him, but we'll move it. We'll get into that next episode. Nate, quarter 4, a little bit of NBA, a little bit of NHL. Obviously, the World Juniors, the Canadians win the World Junior Championship in Edmonton, a summer version, and after the cancellation in December, Mason McTavish in overtime, just maybe the goal save of the year.
Oh, dude, that's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
That was I just still can't believe it, man. That's going up with some Eberle stuff.
Yes,
that is just like got to be a top 5 legendary 100%. Canadian moment.
100%. It was incredible.
Yeah, the guy just literally punched his ticket to being a full-time NHLer this year. I think with that alone, like he's an absolute stud.
Oh man,
he's so good.
And absolutely, and the Kent Johnson goal in overtime, awesome. He's going to be a phenomenal NHL player. Yep. He's silky as heck. And then who was the right-handed? Is it Stankoven? Yep. Anyway, right-handed. He was the CHL Player of the Year. He really came on. He's going to be a nice player as well.
I can't remember who the lefty is either on the D. The left-handed D-man?
Zellweger?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, he's sick.
Oh, yeah. So something along those lines. Anyway, it was a good team, and they were stacked. Like, they deserved to win that tournament. They had a top-to-bottom, really strong team. Yeah. Nazem Kadri, this news broke as soon as we stopped recording last episode. Nazem Kadri going to Calgary, 7-year deal. What a job by the management in Calgary to really, you get your 2 top players leave, and then you turn it around with Weegar, Huberdeau, and Kadri. Maybe you won't have the longevity of Johnny Gaudreau's career and Matty Tkachuk, but...
Yeah, you had to do something, and I think this is pretty much all you could do. I don't think that Kadri contract's going to look too great after about 2 years. I'm also just not that sold on the guy.
Yeah. I don't know. He had a fantastic year. We're talking about, that's what you...
but in a contract year, it just always spooks me a bit.
For sure.
But what do you do?
He was probably the most consistent player on the Colorado Avalanche this year. I think it was 73 games, 80, almost close to 89 points. Yep. And for a long time, it seemed like he was just on a tear. And you think about the injuries. It seems like during the regular season, like McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog, it's a merry-go-round of fucking injuries.
Yeah, it is.
It's
crazy. They're always hurt. That's so true. Yeah, Landeskog's always out, or Rantanen's always out. That's such a good point.
Yeah, and McKinnon is too. Like McKinnon takes some time off where he's injured, and really, Kadri was the guy. He was the. But anyway, it's a nice pickup regardless. And I think you're right, Nate. I think that both that Huberdeau contract and Nazem Kadri contract could look a little sketchy here in 3, 4, 5 years time. Those last few years, but you know what? It's win now time.
Yep.
What
do you do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we still got some free agents that we'll see sign. Some Phil Kessels of the world, the Paul Statsnys, the PK Subban. So it'll be interesting to see where those guys end up. But Nate, you know what? We got the McKinnon Cup party in Halifax. That was an absolute do. I didn't want to mention that, but you know what? We'll wrap things up because we got the restaurant opening. We got to thank Hassan here, restaurant, the owner of the restaurant, giving us the space, and we'll get back. We'll be back on Friday with the week's news, and we'll continue on. Make sure you're following all the on all the socials, TikTok, Instagram.
Get on the Chalkboard app, folks.
If you're looking for a sports group chat, yeah. Anyway, guys, we appreciate it. It was a makeshift podcast today, but we'll be back.